One wasn't all that different from the next, and that was all right with me. Then all of a sudden it got all jumbled up, like a puzzle that's been knocked to the floor. And you're having trouble putting it back together. And then some. It has to do with love, doesn't it? Olivia nodded her head for a moment before realizing that Ruth couldn't see her. Yes, she said instead. And your engagement to Billy Tate? She was about to ask the older woman how she knew about that, but stopped. There was no doubt in Olivia's mind that word of her relationship with Billy had raced around town like wildfire. She could only guess how long it would take for news of their breakup to spread. For someone like Ruth, a woman who paid close attention to the world around her, it wasn't much of a surprise that she knew. I ended it yesterday, Olivia answered, seeing no point in holding back the truth. She told Ruth all about what had happened, her shock when he'd asked her to become his wife, how she'd accepted out of the fear of breaking his heart right before he left for the service, and about how that decision had weighed on her like a stone ever since. I love Billy so much, I always have, but as a friend, not as a husband. In the end, I just couldn't go through with it. You did the right thing, my dear, Ruth soothed. Tentatively, she reached out and placed her wrinkled hand into Olivia's, giving it a gentle squeeze. Marriage isn't the sort of thing to enter into lightly. Sure, it's normal to have doubts, butterflies in your stomach, that sort of thing. I know I did. But those are nerves of excitement, the thrill of facing the unknown with someone you love completely, with all your heart. Billy's a good man, but he's not the one for you. That's not what my mother thinks, Olivia said sourly. The only thing she cares about is the money Billy stands to earn. The fact that his family is both wealthy and connected is more than enough reason for her. She's only trying to look out for your best interests. She told me I'm making a mistake. That's because she doesn't want you to struggle, Ruth explained. Elizabeth may not say it the right way, but deep down in her heart, she's doing what any good mother would. She's trying to protect you. She sees Billy as a way for you to make your way through life easier than she did. No parent wants to see their child suffer. Unfortunately, she's forgotten to take your happiness into consideration. Marrying Billy wouldn't make me happy, I'm sure of it. And you're starting to think that being with the other man would? The blind woman asked. That maybe Peter is the one you've been waiting for? Olivia looked at Ruth, dumbstruck. The older woman stared forward, her expression expectant, as if she was waiting for an answer. How do you know about him? I spoke with him a couple days ago, she answered matter-of-factly. You did? Ruth nodded. We came over and we shared a few words, she said. I didn't get to talk to him for very long, but he seemed like a good young man. Strong, although it seemed like something was weighing on him. A burden, perhaps. What makes you say that? Call it a blind woman's intuition, a hunch. I've spent so many years unable to see the look that crosses people's faces that I have to interpret the sound of their voices. He sounded strained. He has a lot on his mind, that one. Olivia thought about the times she'd spent with Peter. On a number of occasions, when he was still lying in bed, recuperating from his injuries, she'd noticed him staring out the window, lost in thought. It made her wonder if Ruth wasn't right, that maybe something was troubling him, some problem he was trying to figure out. Are you in love with him? Ruth asked, and then shook her head. Goodness sakes, I shouldn't be asking you that. It's really none of my business. It's all right, Olivia reassured her. After all, the blind woman's question was one she'd been asking herself for a while. The thing is, I've never been in love before, so I'm not exactly sure what it is I'm supposed to feel. All I know is that Peter is unlike any man I've ever known. Just thinking about him causes something inside of me to change. So if I haven't fallen in love with Peter already, I'd say that I'm well on my way. Ruth smiled warmly. That sounds lovely. I'm just not sure what I'm supposed to do now.